Farry. Oliver, firstly, tell us about the ban on the marking of this anniversary and what actually is happening in Hong Kong to mark the 31st year after Tiananmen Square.
Well, as you said, officially the vigil will not go ahead. This is the first time in 31 years it has not happened. And Hong Kong is, of course, the only place on Chinese soil where such a vigil, such a memorial for the Tiananmen Square massacre of 1989 is permitted to take place. It's not going ahead this year because of social distancing measures, which were actually due to elapse at midnight tonight, but they have been extended now till August because of a small cluster that has happened in Hong Kong in this past week. Hong Kong is largely free of COVID-19 at the moment, but there are still a number of lingering cases. The organisers of the vigil are still going to go ahead with a minute's silence in Victoria Park, or at least as close to Victoria Park as they can get it. 12 months ago, for the 30th anniversary, tens of thousands showed up. It was the largest attendance in years, and it pretty much set the tone for the large pro-democracy protest that occurred 5 days later, and which ultimately brought down the Hong Kong government's extradition bill. There are also a number of smaller vigils planned for around the city today, and 7 Catholic churches will be holding masses in remembrance of the 1989 massacre.
So much a more low-key affair on that front, Oliver. But meanwhile, we're hearing that police have entered Hong Kong's Legislative Council after some pro-democracy lawmakers there were protesting as the vote on the controversial law making it a crime to say anything critical of the Chinese anthem was debated.
Yeah, the hearing has been adjourned today, or rather the voting of it. 21 amendments tabled by the pro-democracy faction were voted down. As the numbers stand in the Legislative Council, the law is pretty much a foregone conclusion. The pro-Beijing camp have a fairly substantial majority in the Legislative Council. This law has been actually on the back burner for a couple of years. It was due to be passed last year, but was shelved because of the anti-extradition protests. This has been the result of a lot of booing, particularly at international football matches, of the Chinese national anthem, March of the Volunteers. And this is something that Beijing and the Hong Kong government want to criminalise, to put an end to. They are proposing that large fines and also prison sentences of up to 3 years be slapped on anyone who is found guilty of it. Now, up until about 12 months ago, only a small minority at public events were disrespecting March of the Volunteers. Since the protests, particularly at these international football matches, you've had the whole stadium joining in. So whether this new law will manage to cow people enough to stop doing this remains to be seen.
Oliver Farry in Hong Kong, thanks indeed for that.